Here again. Right, to make corned beef hash, going to need to make some corned beef first. So, first thing to do, we need to make the brine. Oh, here we go. When we're making the brine, it's important, it's really important to get the curing salt amounts correct. So I'll put a link in the description below. There's all kinds of details so you can get the exact amount for your weight of meat. Okay, to the salt, now we're just going to add some sugar just to counteract the salt. And to that, now we're going to start putting in some of the flavouring for the corned beef. Start off with a couple of bay leaves, crunch these up, really. Just crunch them up and put them in. It'll release the essential oil a bit. Next, I'm going to add some mustard seeds. You can actually toast these off in a pan. It does release more oils. Personally, I don't bother because I can't really tell the difference. I'm going to just crunching up some cinnamon. You can use cinnamon powder if you want to, it doesn't make any difference. And got some coriander seeds going in. There we go. Melted. And there's some paprika, a little bit of paprika. You can of course put, that's juniper berries. You can of course put your own pickling spice in. You put whatever you like in. Mine usually consists of what I've actually got on the shelf at the time. Okay, now you need to add the pickling spice to the water that you've just boiled. And once we've got that stirred up, this is so you can dissolve the salts and the sugar, that's all. Once we've got that stirred up, we'll add the rest of the salt that we need to make the proper brine. This can go in when the water's hot, it's all perfectly fine, it'll all dissolve, that's what you want. Just make sure you give it a good stir, just to get rid of any clumps of salt or sugar that might be hanging about. Once this is done, then we can add the rest of the water. Now once you've had the rest of the water, what you want to do is put your brine in somewhere cool, let it cool off completely. Whatever you do, you don't want to put meat into hot brine. That won't be good. Okay, lid on. It's going in the bottom of my fridge for an hour. Right, now to sort this meat out. Now in the UK, we pretty much get rolled brisket all the time. You can buy full pack of brisket, but this is normally what we'll get. This is about a £5 one. It's not too bad, decent size. Basically what I'll do is just cut the strings off, unroll it, and then we'll see what we've got. You don't have to use brisket for this. You can use any meat, to be honest, but brisket's traditional. Why not use it? Right, that's the string off. Let's see what we've got. It's okay, it's not bad. It'll make corned beef. And anyway, this is only going for corned beef hash, to be honest, so it doesn't really matter what it looks like. I'm just going to cut some of the massive chunks of fat off. Just makes it a bit more palatable. Don't want to cut too much off because a lot of this will be rendered down. So Just trim off any big bulky bits that you don't want. Okay, that's not too bad that side, it's alright now. Right, I get my brine, and here it is. Now this is nice and cold now, it's been in the fridge, and I've just got to place this under the brine. Now, to be honest, it's not going to fit in, I don't think, so I'm going to cut it. So, and also the brine will overflow. So, it's the biggest container I've got, so tip a bit of this brine out. Let's see. Will it go in? I'll tip some of this away. Other people are prepared when they do this kind of stuff. But, well, doesn't matter. Right, that should go under. There we go. Didn't need to cut it at all. Right, one thing to do, you don't want any of the meat coming out of the brine when it's going to be left for a week. So, best thing to do is you need to weight the meat down so that it stays under the brine. I'm just going to use a big plate. Hopefully a plate will fit in. We'll see. Yeah, this brine doesn't look that appetizing, but it doesn't matter. Right, got my plate. Let's see if this plate will fit in me thing. Oh, yeah, that'll do. That'll do. Watch all my brine spill out everywhere. But I'll put the lid on. You can stick that in the bottom of the fridge for a week. What you want to do is take it out every morning, check to see that it's all been submerged properly, and turn it over. I've been turning it over. Okay, 1 week later. Here we go. Now what you'll find is that the meat is quite firm now. Not mega firm, but reasonably firm. A lot firmer than it was. Okay. Seems to be okay. So we'll get that out. And let's get all this stuff drained off. I'll just put this into a dish for a minute. Now this is going to have to go into a pan to be simmered. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm definitely going to have to cut this in half because I don't think one of my stock pots is big enough to take this whole meat. Let's get these juniper berries off. Doesn't matter about anything sticking to it. You can leave them on. They can go straight into the simmering part. Right, just going to cut this down the centre. There we go. Oh, that's not too bad there. You get a fairly decent piece of meat on it. Straight into my pot. Okay. Right. Now, I need to top that up with some water. Now you can put some more pickling spice in this as well. Pretty much the same that you've used already. Or you can use some of the stuff that you've just used it as brine. I've put a mixture in, to be honest. Just to keep the bit of flavour. Right, this can go onto the stove. Nice low light. I'm going to put it on. I put it on for 4 hours. And this is what it looks like. So, as you can see, it's like pulled beef. It does break apart if you actually get hold of it. You can just break it apart with your hands. Although you have to watch the liquid because that's quite hot. So we'll get that taken out, see what we've got. When you first take this beef out, it'll be all wobbly like a big jelly, which it is. And what you need to do is let it cool down first before you do any slicing of it, and that'll let everything set a bit more, and it'll hopefully taste good. As you can see, quite wobbly. Whatever, just before I stick it in the fridge, just can't tell, just having a little taste. Oh, amazing. Yeah, brilliant.
Delicious.
Brilliant. Right, let that cool down and go in the fridge. And this has been in the fridge and is nice and cold. As you can see, there's a smaller bit because what I've done is I've cut it into sections. I'm going to freeze the other lot. Here is a piece of corned beef, and as you can see, it's quite decent. There's good meat on it. You can slice this, go against the grain, nice and thin. And because it's cold, it's a lot easier to cut. And it just falls to bits. There we go. Right, now I just need some corned beef for me corned beef hash. Final. Right. This would have been a 20-second video if I hadn't actually made the corned beef. But it tastes amazing, actually, to be honest. Really good. Okay, corned beef hash is the simplest thing you can make. Corned beef, potatoes, onions, and Worcester sauce. You definitely need that. Now, just slice your onions up. It can be rough as anything. Mine is just chopped. There you go. Put those in a bowl. Now, normally where I'm from in Lancashire, we'll use mashed potato with corned beef hash. But I got some potatoes left over from yesterday, and they were new potatoes, so they got the skin off. So I just cut them up a little bit, and we're just going to use those instead, because it doesn't really matter. You make it however you want to. All you're doing really is frying it up, fry the potatoes up, the onions, add the corned beef, Worcester sauce, and you're done. So we'll get this on. Get these onions in, fry them off a bit. Now I've got mine on quite high heat. It probably could go on a lot lower, but let's just not mess about because I'm starving. Yeah, my onions will do now. So what we'll do, take those out and we'll get the potatoes in. As I say, I've not even bothered chopping up small or anything like that. These will do. Now you could crush them up if you want to, or you can mash them. Just use mash if you want to, but quite fancy them like this. Massive chunk of butter, because you can't have too much butter. Although, to be perfectly honest, that is a lot of butter, but doesn't matter. Tastes great with new potatoes. Okay, now they're frying off nicely. We'll grab the corned beef in. There we go. Now this will just fall to bits when we're stirring it up, which is perfectly fine. Once these potatoes are fried up enough, we can add the onions back in. And then we're pretty much ready. Okay, so in we go with the onions. There we go. Now there is a lot of butter in this. You might want to drain some of it off if you put in as much as me. But I just put it over the top, it tastes great. Stir that up, get everything nice and hot, and then you can plate it up and eat it. Only thing next to do, let's just season it. Just going to use black pepper and some salt, and then most important of all, the Worcester sauce. It's just not corned beef hash without Worcester sauce. Smells amazing. I think we're just about ready there, and let's get this on a plate and eat it. Okay, plating it up. I've got to be honest, it's hard to make corned beef hash look sexy, isn't it? But it smells delicious, and I've just had a little taste and it's absolutely gorgeous. So can't wait to eat this. Thank you very much. That's it. There you go. Amazing. Lovely.
Jersey Royals. You just can't beat them. Huh.